Hey, let's see. I gotta make sure we are muted over here. Okay. All right, you ready? We're gonna see if we can go 15 this morning. So it'll be just a little bit longer. Let me make sure I've got this where I need it. Okay, let's go. We are live. Oh, okay. Let's get going here. Oh, all right. Good morning. Oh, time for a stretch. Here we go. All right. I hope you're up and at 'em this morning. I was a little slow getting out of bed just because I went to bed too late. But I did find something interesting that last night as I was laying in bed, I couldn't sleep. I had a lot going on. I was busy right until bedtime, which is going to lead right into I am rested. If you can if you can help it, and not be busy right until bedtime. And some nights are going to be like that, but if you can make it so it's not the norm, if it's not your habit to run until I call it flop and drop or drop and flop because you don't know for sure which is going to happen first. Anyway, last night was one of those nights, and I was having a hard time getting to sleep. I had done my routine, so I had done all the different oils and supplements and things that I do at bedtime and had prepared and gotten into bed, and my mind was just like and then I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot to wiggle. I call it wiggling. I forgot to wiggle. So I like to do it before bed. I like to do it after dinner is when I really like to do it. And also we went on vacation, and while we were on vacation, I took this with me so that um we could use it. But when you stay in a hotel or Airbnb or whatever, you typically don't have so many floors. So, I'm laying in bed and I'm thinking I should have wiggled because I'm feeling wiggly in my bed. Well, I finally just got up, came down here, turned it on, laid here, rested. Yes, it was what, 20 minutes later when I got into bed. But I was really nice and tired at that point. So it was relaxing for and helpful for me to be able to do before I went to bed. Helped me wind down when my brain was like, blah, 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 blah. Let's talk about everything. Okay, so then let's talk about I am rested because we talked about I am nourished, talked about getting our vitamins, our minerals, all those things because that turns on the messaging in your cells. Like you can't have messaging in your cells if you're not nourished, if you're not getting your vitamins, your minerals, your supplements, and even like enough food. That's a part of it. It's getting all those pieces. And then yesterday we talked about I am active and how being active isn't always what you think it is. It's not killing yourself at the gym. It's not just like making things worse. If you're injured and you're staying really active on an injured joint or whatever, then um you're not healing yourself. You're not giving yourself the space and the time to heal. So we talked about active rest, and we talked about being kind to your body. I had one gal who went through our program. She actually lost 70 pounds, not all of it in the 90-day program, but she continued with the program after that. She lost 70 pounds, changed her whole life. But she she told me that one of the best parts of the whole thing was at the very beginning when I said, don't exercise. Stop killing yourself trying to get your exercise in. You need to rest. And this is so common with um, with issues of being able to either lose weight or just heal at all is that if you're not getting your rest. So we talked about um, being active, but also resting with that activity, and lots of different ideas and different things you can do to do that. And you can do the simple things because, like your baby learned how to sit up by doing little tiny micro exercises. And that's what you're doing. You're strengthening your your muscles. They might be little, they might be hidden. You might think you don't have any, but you do have them. And so you're going to, through that process of just gentle day by day, getting a little bit stronger, doing a little bit more. And then we also talked about NEAT, which is non-exercise activity thermogenesis. So that's when your body uses more calories and more energy, just wants to burn that energy because you're feeling better. And we talked about how that we saw that a lot in the people that were doing our program with us last time. Around 60 days in, they just felt like doing more. They felt like walking more. They felt like playing more. They wanted to ride their bike or do just like all these different things. And and it wasn't even like it was spring when we were doing the program. By the time they were 60 days in, it was like the end of October, which is not necessarily a time when people feel a burst of energy like you do in the spring when you're just like, oh my gosh, get me out of here. Like winter's over and I want to go do something. And so it was really, really cool because people were just like taking care of themselves and they started feeling better. So that's the promise, right? Okay, now I am rested. Let's talk about I am rested because this is also, I mean, we talked about resting with activity, but resting itself. So this one, I want to talk about two things with this. Number one is light and artificial light. Now, when the time changes in the spring, like it has right now, it's really difficult because our bodies would rather wake up to natural light. You would like the first light of your morning to be sunlight, not the light that's glaring down at me this morning, which I probably shouldn't have even turned on because I'm laying here with my eyes closed because it's so bright. Maybe I'll think about that. But that natural light, getting out, getting that sunlight, sunlight helps your body to create vitamin D, and it's really an important piece of what you're doing. By the way, if you are supplementing properly, you are naturally more sun resistant as far as I don't want to say sun resistant, but like your skin uses the sun more efficiently when you're properly supplemented and you're less likely to get a burn. So that's even without sunscreen. So really interesting, right? Um, okay, so light is one of the big things. Another part of light is at night. If you're staying up so late that you have to be in artificial light, that's not restful to your body. And so, as much as possible, try to start turning off the lights or at least wear your blue blockers and get your eyes to kind of calm down. This will help you. Also, don't work right until bedtime on your screens. Put your phone in another room so that you um, don't have to deal with the blue light from your phone. And all of this is going to contribute to your circadian rhythm and getting the proper rest that you need. Some other things that are really great about sleep are having a routine or a ritual at bedtime. If you have certain things that you do, if you have certain oils or certain supplements, an order in which brush your teeth, wash your face, brush your hair, whatever it is that you're doing. If you're body brushing is another very restful, um, supportive activity, dry brushing, that you can do that helps to stimulate your nervous system in a way that is uh, supportive and restful. helping your parasympathetic nervous system to bring in all of that, calmness and rest and digest. That's what you're looking for. Um, there are some oil application techniques that you can do that help to support the balancing of the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems. So these are all really important pieces. And then, of course, giving yourself the time so that you can have enough rest. This is really, really crucial. And I know you know it already. The question is, what are you going to do about it to make sure that you are turning it off? So one thing that I have implemented is a kind of wrap it up alarm, right? Just to have one that just gives me a heads up that hey, it's already 9 o'clock, especially with the time change, right? I'm not ready for it to be 9 o'clock. And so that's helpful. You have that little reminder, and then start your activities, whatever they are. You probably already have an evening ritual. So just look at it and see if it's what you want it to be. Do you wake up in the morning and wish you had taken better care of yourself at bedtime? If you're wishing that there were a few other things done, then set your alarm just a little bit earlier and then give yourself a list so you can remember that, hey, I decided I wanted to go to bed with my kitchen sink nice and shiny, all the dishes in the dishwasher, and maybe the dishwasher started, or if you don't have very many people in your household, then maybe you don't start it every day, whatever the situation is. Just looking at that and making sure that your routines are happening. Um, and then, walk through, maybe you got to put the dogs to bed. Maybe you've got to feed the cat or put the cat out or put the cat in or whatever it is that has to happen at your house. Locking up the house, just kind of putting everything to bed, and saying goodnight and thank you. That's part of a ritual that you could have, is that this ritual of gratitude, that as you walk through your home, that you thank your home for the service that it's given to you. You thank your kitchen, you thank the lights as you turn them off, you thank the doors as you lock them, you thank the animals as you put them to bed. Like whatever that is, just give yourself that opportunity to sort of rest and reflect and kind of come into this space of gratitude so that you can get calm down and get into that restful place. So, what are some of the things that you like to do for resting? What's helpful for you as you come into your evening routine or your evening ritual? This would also be another great time to do a little bit of savasana or stretching. Some people like to do that before bed. It can be very restful, or do a meditation, listen to a meditation, there's lots of, I know I just told you to put your phone in your other room, but if it's still by your bed, make sure it's face down so you're not getting that light. But there are some nice, go to sleep meditations or um, things that you can listen to on YouTube. And some of them even go like the full 8 hours if you have just like the soft sleeping music, or maybe you like the rife frequencies, or maybe you do some of the Bible readings. There's lots of things to choose from that can kind of help take your mind off the day and move into that restful time. I like to pray before I go to sleep, or as I'm going to sleep, to just talk to the Lord and feel that gratitude for the day. Sometimes I'm looking over the day and thinking I'm glad it's over. But that's a great time too to reflect on how I've interacted with my fellow sojourners here on Earth, and to just be mindful, and maybe some correction is needed on my part. And if so, then I take the time to talk to the Lord about those things and think about ways that I can do better. Now, this is not a time or a place to ruminate or to, fill your soul with guilt or any of that kind of stuff. So if you find yourself going there, then, pray for relief, use some essential oils, help yourself to stop those types of thinking patterns, help yourself to interrupt or arrest those thoughts. And that could be another topic that maybe we'll talk about is how do you go about doing that arrest? Because sometimes it can be really challenging to stop your thoughts from the place. We have a thing in our household that we call a tired tirade, which is when you're overtired and you need rest. And my husband says this sometimes like it goes both ways, but mostly it doesn't go both ways. It's just me. Look at that. 15 minutes is up already. But we've learned that when a tired tirade is going on, no matter who it is or how old they are, we just put them to bed because they just need rest. And you knew this when you were raising toddlers, but now you might need it for yourself too. So it's just a great place to give grace. So those are my thoughts about rest. Thanks for joining me this morning and have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow.